the aroma of her perfume a clawing mix of jasmine and something aggressively synthetic usually greeted me at the door. It was her way of announcing her presence like a queen returning to her castle, but tonight the air was thick with a different kind of tension, a palpable buzz that made the hairs on my neck stand on end. She stood there bathed in the golden light of the hallway, her eyes unnaturally bright, a manic grin plastered across her face. In her hand she clutched a single sheet of paper held up like a trophy. "Look," she exclaimed, her voice a little too high, a little too enthusiastic. "I got it, I finally got it." I stepped inside, placing my briefcase down. I'd had a long day and the officers' fluorescent lights had left my head throbbing. I managed to smile, forcing the weariness from my face. "Got what, honey?" She thrust the paper forward, practically shoving it into my chest. It was an official-looking letter, the company's logo emblazoned at the top, the words "Ocean" in bold. I skimmed it, and not forming in my stomach. I knew she'd been gunning for this promotion for months, had spent countless nights working late, had missed dinners and family events in pursuit of it. I should have been happy for her. I tried to be happy for her. "Oh, Brittany, that's amazing," I said, my voice laced with an effortful warmth. I wasn't stupid. I knew that this promotion meant more than just a step up in her career. It meant more money, more status, more time away from me. My stomach twisted, but I pushed the rising tide of unease back down. I'd be the good husband, the supportive partner. She practically vibrated with excitement. I knew I could do it. They saw my potential, finally saw how hard I've been working. She paced the living room, her heels clicking against the wooden floor, the sound grating against my already frayed nerves. I watched her, my eyes drawn to the way her body moved, the way she tossed her hair. Lately she'd been different, more vibrant, almost glowing, but not in the way I remembered. It was a feverish glow, like a fire burning a little too hot, a little too bright. I told myself it was just her excitement about the promotion, but a nagging voice in the back of my head whispered otherwise. I reached for the letter again, pretending to study it. "So what does this entail exactly?" "More responsibilities, I assume." She stopped pacing, her eyes glittering. "Oh, it's much more than that. It's a project manager role, heading a whole new team. I'll be working directly with." She paused, her gaze darting away from mine. "Well, with some very important people." I nodded, my eyes still fixed on the letter. I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. My gaze dropped to the bottom of the page, to the small block of text that contained the company's contact details. My breath hitched. "Brittany," I said, my voice suddenly flat, devoid of any emotion. "Look at the date," she said, soft, dismissing my concern. "What about it? It's the date they issued the promotion. What's the big deal?" My heart hammered against my ribs. I pointed at the date, my finger trembling slightly. "The date on this letter is June 12th. Today is October 15th. The air in the room seemed to thicken. The smile on her face faltered, her eyes widening with a dawning horror. She stumbled back a step, her hand flying to her mouth. The letter slipped from her grasp, fluttering to the floor like a fallen leaf. What are you talking about?" she stammered, her voice barely a whisper, her face drained of color. "The letter, it's 4 months old. Why are you only showing it to me now? Why didn't you tell me about it months ago? Why didn't we celebrate months ago? This isn't a promotion, Brittany, this is a lie." Her carefully constructed facade crumbled. Panic flickered across her face, replacing the confident, self-satisfied expression she'd worn just moments before. She opened her mouth to speak, to try and explain, but no words came out. I knelt down, picking up the letter, holding it up so she could see it. 4 months, Brittany, for 4 months you've been playing me. You've been acting like you were grinding for this promotion, but you've had it all along. What does that mean? What has been going on for the past 4 months? She backed away further, her eyes darting around as if looking for an escape. I can explain," she whispered, her voice trembling. I stood up, my anger a cold hard knot in my chest. Explain how you could lie to me for 4 months. Explain the late nights, the hushed phone calls, the new clothes, the change in you. Explain why I suddenly feel like I don't know the woman I've been married to for 8 years. My voice grew louder, each word cutting through the silence like a shard of glass. "You've been spending time away from me, getting this promotion. You've been lying to my face every day, every night. You were lying to me." She finally found her voice, a desperate plea rising from the depths of her throat. "No, it's not what you think. You don't understand." "Oh, I think I understand perfectly, Brittany. You've been caught, and now you're scrambling to find a way out. You're lying to me, and you're a terrible liar. The proof is in this paper." I walked to the fireplace, placing the letter on the mantelpiece, holding it down with a small ornament. I stood back, looking at the letter and then back at Brittany, her whole body shaking. "It's a shame to see you crumble, isn't it? 4 months you spent probably plotting and planning, and you made a simple mistake. You brought that letter home. Why do that? Her face crumpled, tears welling in her eyes. She took a step forward, reaching for me. Please just listen to me. I pulled away the disgust I felt for her bubbling up in my throat. I don't want to hear it. Brittany, I don't want to hear another one of your lies. You broke my trust and I don't think I can ever forgive you for that. For a while I thought my gut feeling was wrong, but then you brought this paper to me and showed me how right I was. The phone rang, the shrill sound slicing through the tense air. Brittany didn't move. She stood there frozen, staring at me, her eyes wide with fear and something else, something I couldn't quite place. I walked past her, picking up the phone from the counter. Hello, hello. This is Mr. Thompson from Human Resources. Is this Mr. Harrison? We need to inform you that your wife, Brittany Harrison, has been terminated from her position due to a breach of company policy. I glanced at Brittany, her mouth gaped. She had heard him. Her world had just crashed around her. I continued to talk on the phone. What exactly was the breach? It turns out she has been using company resources for her own personal gain. It is a very serious matter. We have evidence of her falsifying documents, and we have evidence of her relationship with one of the company's managers. I glanced back at Brittany. The blood had drained from her face. She didn't move, didn't even blink. I gave the HR representative the appropriate response, a professional and calm demeanor hiding the satisfaction that was bubbling up inside of me. I understand. Thank you for the update. I hung up, placing the phone back on the counter. I turned to face her, my expression cold and unyielding. It seems your little scheme has unraveled. You've been fired, Brittany. They know about everything, all the lies, all the secrets.